Rice is an absolute staple in the kitchen, and when you have it in the house, you know you'll never go hungry, and you're a third of the way to a great dinner because you can just add a vegetable or two, a protein or two, and dinner's on the table in no time. I like to start dinner by frying an onion because when you come home, the kitchen can be cold. You haven't been in it all day, and as soon as you have an onion frying, you have company, and you have the aromas filling the air, and it really is very motivating. This onion I'm caramelizing for a wonderful rice platter. It's rice, caramelized onions, lentils, salmon, dill, and zucchini. It's a full meal, looks gorgeous, and it's done in the time it takes that onion to caramelize. For the protein and vegetable, I'm using zucchini and salmon. You could also use peas, you could use fava beans. If you're not a swift chopper, you can't get it really thin. Just do slices and quarter them instead, because you want them to cook quickly. So there's the zucchini. Throw it on a baking sheet, like so. Add some salt and a bit of pepper and olive oil. It's a bit of a drizzle, you don't need too much. So this is optional. I have some cumin, just a pinch or two to give it a bit of mystery. Now the salmon, just lay it in with the zucchini. I know this is a bit unconventional, but it will all cook at the same time. The zucchini will be nice and tender, and the fish will be cooked through. Again, salt and pepper. So just pop this in the oven for about 10 minutes at 400 degrees. Next, the rice. You want a long grain rice. You're not making sushi. You don't want a rice that sticks together. You could use basmati or jasmine, anything that's going to be really nice and light and fluffy. So this is a quick cooking rice. I've got boiling water. Just pour the rice in. Add some butter. Give it a stir. And just let that sit for 5 minutes. So I like to serve this as a lot of ingredients that go together, and they really make a beautiful, rich and complex dish. The caramelized onion, you have a bit of cumin in there. I'm going to put some dill. All those ingredients are brightened up by a bit of freshness, which I like to do in the form of a sauce, which takes seconds. It's sour cream, thinned out with a bit of heavy cream, salt, pepper, and lemon zest, because that's the real perk. And you just serve that in a bowl alongside for people to help themselves. So these onions are caramelized, nice and dark and rich. They're going to add real depth of flavor. So let me get that salmon. The rice is done. Fluff it up with a fork and just make sure all the grains are staying apart nicely. And then you mix the rice into the onions. And that way the ingredients all become more than just the sum of their parts. It's nice, usually you see rice on the bottom of something with things beside it or piled on top. And I like this dish because it really integrates all the ingredients. So that's the zucchini. And I'm going to add a bit of dill too. Just chop up a few fronds. You can use it for garnish too, but I like to have it woven through the rest. So there's that. Some nice dill. Now, just toss it all together. Get a nice big platter and spill all this onto it. And if, say you're having dinner, you have 4 pieces of salmon and a 5th person shows up. This little technique means no one will ever know you didn't expect them. So just peel it off the skin and arrange it over top. For a really fancy lunch, if you had some edible flower petals, you could scatter those over. But it's pretty enough as it is, really. And then don't forget the sauce. And there you go. In the time it takes to caramelize an onion, you get this beautiful dish showcasing rice, salmon, and zucchini. And what I really love about it is that it's not using rice as an afterthought. It's using it as a starting point and being really creative.
For the full recipe and more surprisingly quick and elegant meals made with rice, go to thirdoftheway.ca.